Star Wars Rogue One. This 2015 film is the first in the Disney installment of Star Wars movies, and it is a middle movie in between events of Revenge of the Sith and right before A New Hope. There's a long gap, but you get the story of how the Death Star plans ends up with the rebels.
It's an awesome story that ties the end of Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope together. It doesn't really rely on a lot of Jedi stuff. There's some in there, but not any Jedis really on screen, and very little lightsaber action. It's really story focused on what happens with the Death Star plans.
Yeah, absolutely. There are no Jedi in this film. Only briefly mentioned at one point is Obi-Wan through Senator Organa at the Rebel base. So yeah, let's get right into what worked. What worked in the movie of Rogue One. For me, Rogue One is great because you get the behind the scenes, and this ties in with another Disney show called Andor. It has 2 seasons and it ties directly to the beginning of Rogue One. Very cool. If you haven't seen Andor season 1 and 2, it is fantastic and it ties you directly into this movie. I really like that about it because you get the backstory in this movie of how the rebels get the plans to the Death Star. It was always just kind of like, yeah, many people sacrifice their lives to get these plans. That's all you hear in A New Hope, but they have them. So it's very cool you get the story, and it's very personal because you get Jyn Erso and her father Galen Erso, and Galen, as you see in the introduction of the movie, he gets taken back prisoner to continue working on the Death Star for Director Krennic and the Empire, and Galen purposely sabotages the Death Star somewhere in there that they don't really pay attention to. One trend about the Empire is they believe they're so big they can't fail, essentially, so they have a lot of loose cracks in their inner workings that they never really know about, and then by the time they do know about it, they're like, well, guess we got to tell Lord Vader and Grand Moff Tarkin and, the Emperor. They got to tell all these people. They're like, we screwed the pooch. We messed up everything.
Yeah.
So let's get the big guys in to handle all the problems. But yeah, what worked for me? The visuals are stunning. Specifically for me, the X-Wing attack on Edu at the base. It's dark and you just see the ships coming through the rainy planet, and then they drop the bombs on Edu and blow up the secret military base there. Very cool sequence. The great scene on Scarif, and Scarif is so cool. The beachy island planet and the big massive antenna and the big building that transmits data out of there. Very cool. And the big shield that covers the entire planet. Very cool. The X-Wings, man, if you like the starship stuff in Star Wars movies, this has a lot. This has a lot of starship battles and the X-Wings in action, the Y-Wings and all of the other cool ships. Even the Hammerhead Corvette, which just looks like a cargo ship, but they use it to take down an Imperial Star Destroyer and break the shield. Very cool scene. The visuals, the starships, very cool in this movie. Really enjoyed that part of it. The personal story of Cassian, Jyn Erso, and their friendly droid that's been reprogrammed, K2.
Yeah. Kind of sarcastic and friendly. Yeah.
So sarcastic. One of the funniest moments. I'll get my funny moment out now. Funniest moment is when Jyn is discovered by the rebels hiding under an alias as a prisoner of the Empire, and they're like, oh, do you want to be free after they break through her prisoner transport? And she's like, oh, yeah, let me out. She starts beating up all the rebels that are trying to save her, and she starts running, and then K2 just clotheslines her, and it's like, congratulations, you're being rescued.
Yeah.
Fantastic scene.
Yeah,
and he's
great
all
intro
snippy.
to him.
Yes, very snippy, sarcastic, very fun character. Yeah, I mean, you get some Darth Vader in this, which is sick because you haven't seen him since he became Darth Vader in Revenge. Not a lot of screen time of Vader, but it was good. What they did with him was very good. There's quite a bit of what worked in this movie. As a Disney Star Wars film, I am not a fan of almost everything they've done, so it was surprising. Rogue One is like an anomaly with their ownership of Star Wars. It's so good. Let's get into what worked for you, Mike.
So Disney really nailed the visual part of this galaxy. It's been many years since the prequels came out, and even more years since the original trilogy came out, and the advancements in cinematography or visual effects are really noticeable in this. All the starfighter battles in this film are absolutely perfect. You really feel like you're there. The visuals are amazing. Disney nailed it.
Oh, that Disney budget showed itself in this film. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that really worked. It visually was stunning, but the story itself worked for me. I know I've said this about all the Star Wars, but I love the story and I love the universe. So the story in this really worked. Finding out how the plans were stolen and then given to the rebels, like you said, we never really knew from episode 4, A New Hope. We just knew that they got them. So now we can see what happened, and the sacrifices that were mentioned, you actually see and you can feel it. And that really worked.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the coolest parts of this is seeing how the rebels were doing their plans in the background, trying to evade the Empire. And then they are forced. That's another cool part of the story. They're forced. Their hand is forced. They must do something once they find out, okay, the Empire isn't just like all powerful. Now they have a machine that can literally destroy planets. And
Exactly.
that's a big deal. And as we all know, it is the Death Star. That's no moon, as Obi-Wan famously says.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Death Star, man, some of the cool scenes are like the Death Star comes out of hyperspace and Krennic is on Scarif and on the antenna bridge thing, and he's looking up, waking up from being passed out from getting hit, and he just sees the Death Star looming over Scarif, and he's like, oh crap.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah.
Oh, he knew. Why else
That's
would
how
it
the
be
Empire
there?
operates. Yeah.
Yeah.
He knew.
Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin was like, he's on Scarif, huh? And the plans are too? Guess we're going to have to go take care of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, some very cool scenes with the Death Star, and you get to see the inner workings of that too, like the first time it's ever being tested after being put together. Another very cool scene would be when they test the Death Star on Jeddah. Oh my gosh, that scene where they're escaping Saw Gerrera's hideout and the whole planet is just barreling towards them, the surface of the planet. I mean, an explosion, and then they have to get out of. Oh man, very cool. Very, very cool.
Very cool, and it looked cool, but it was also very
Yes.
important. It kind of rallied all these loose rebellion groups into, now they have a cause to get behind. You hear them say on Scarif, remember Jeddah or for Jeddah or something like that.
For Jeddah! Yeah.
Or Jeddah, right? So it kind of,
Yep.
it became a rally cry.
I put it into motion.
Exactly.
All right, so there's a lot of great in this movie. Now let's get to the bad. What didn't work for me? I know that Grand Moff Tarkin is a part of the story. He's pivotal to this story as his dealings with director Krennic and the Emperor in the background, which you don't see the Emperor, but he's talking to the Emperor. Grand Moff Tarkin is fully CGI because, he is old and he had passed away by the time they were making this movie. If you're going to have a major character the whole time, it's hard for me to say it's okay to be CGI the whole time. It just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I know that they had to. He's not alive anymore, but I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like CGI full-time characters interacting with real characters. It's just something that doesn't work for me. Another thing that didn't work for me was, maybe this is just part of the story building as well, but when Jyn Erso is telling all of the rebels together in their little council chamber, we have to do something right now. This is our moment. We know they have this big weapon. Let's all go get the plans and get out of there and save the world, right? Save the universe. And these guys are like, oh, how can we trust you? You don't know anything. And like, let's scatter our forces. Let's give up. We have no hope. Like, the Rebel Alliance that are evading the Empire and trying to take down the Empire are just giving up immediately. I didn't like that. I thought that was strange, but maybe it's just showing that not all of the Rebel Alliance was fully involved. They weren't fully dedicated, but yeah, to me, I was like, you have to take the chance. This is it. This is the moment. And of course they do, under the name Rogue One, given to by the cargo pilot on a whim.
Yeah.
That didn't work for me. And there's some awkward dialogue in the movie at some points, but it wasn't that bad where I wouldn't put it past the movie. But yeah, that's all that didn't work for me. Grand Moff Tarkin is CGI the whole time, and the rebels kind of being little babies.
I'm not a filmmaker, so I don't know what other choices I would have taken to film Governor Tarkin, but that character, I don't know what else you could have done. It was close to being good, but you can still tell something was off. You could tell. I didn't. It turned me off also to see him. He's a great character. I guess he's not a good guy, but he's great character in the story, and I liked seeing him, but I don't know what else they could have done.
Yeah, I mean, with the technology, I feel like they could have done something with a real actor, gotten really close, but
yeah, something like that.
I'm not a filmmaker either. I don't know.
Yeah, but he was just something about him felt weird looking at him too. I felt that too. What didn't work for me in this film, aside from Tarkin, I also didn't like seeing the CGI Princess Leia at the end. It was cool that she was there. She needed to be there. I feel like that scene, they could have just shown her from the back, grabbing the plans. Everybody knows who she was at that point, but she was all CGI also, and it just didn't look, something was off. It's a little bit. It was close, but it was just...
It's more acceptable for how short that she's
Yes,
there.
that
Like
was only a
one
couple
sentence,
seconds.
you know?
Yeah.
But still, it wasn't great. Yeah.
But yeah, a few other things didn't work for me. In Star Wars, in each film, you have this great villain that they build up and they're at conflict like the whole movie. In this one, the villain is obvious. It would have been director Krennic, but he was
Hmm.
just kind of plain. He wasn't this great villain that you expect out of Star Wars. He was the villain, he was the antagonist, but it was plain to me. He didn't really stand out in any one way. Also, in the beginning of the movie, it kind of felt rushed the way they were jumping. In the first couple of minutes, you jump to how many different planets and introduce how many different people.
Yeah.
It felt a little rushed, and I kept saying, wow, another planet, okay. And it's the same shot, a ship flying into a planet with the name of the planet, like, oh, another planet again. So,
Yeah, I can see that. And one thing I'll say to your director Krennic part is, this isn't like a traditional Star Wars film. He's not like a traditional villain either, but also Andor, the show, ties him up really good for this movie.
Yeah.
Andor helps this a lot, but you would have to have seen Andor season 1 and 2 for it to really make him better, because you kind of understand him more. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen that, you don't know about it, then yeah, I could understand. You'd look at him like, he's not scary.
Yeah, that's it for me. You just,
Okay.
I feel like he could have been more villainous.
A little more villainy, yeah. I mean, he could have. Yeah, he could have. He
Yeah.
could have done a little better acting on that part. He could have been a little scarier. I think he kind of knew his place in a way too. Like he had all these big aspirations, and Vader's like, careful not to choke on those aspirations. So yeah, I think he kind of was like getting put in his place, so he couldn't really be what he wanted to be. One of his character flaws,
He kind of felt like he was a struggling middle management guy trying to advance.
Yes. That's
We're
literally that's what he feels and looks like. Yes. Let's get to our standout moments.
Let's do it.
For me, my standout moment is a tie-in when the Death Star blows up Scarif and Jyn Erso and Cassian are embracing each other and they're just looking out and seeing the planet just exploding, the oceans coming towards them. Man, powerful scene, very powerful scene. It literally brings tears to my eyes almost every single time I see that part, because you're like, man, these guys are the heroes. They're not supposed to go down, but they are a critical part of the story, and their sacrifice was not in vain. But man, that ties directly into, you see Vader's shuttle going over to the main rebel ship, and yeah, I think everyone knows my standout moment is going to be when they're trying to get the plans through the ship, and the Rebel Alliance soldiers, the door gets jammed, pure dead silence, black, and then the red lightsaber ignites and you hear the oh my gosh, absolutely epic. This is the first time that you see Darth Vader in action, in the timeline anyways. It's the first time you see the red lightsaber. You see Anakin at his full Sith power potential.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Swinging with one hand with the lightsaber. No, these guys were nothing to him. He just made it look hilarious. He was just like, yep, one hand, swiping these guys down, and then using the other hand to, use the Force to throw them up on the ceiling, and then do the little whirly lightsaber, the 360 lightsaber swing to get him while he's held up in the air. Oh my gosh! And then, he grabs all their blasters from them with one little force pull. Oh my gosh! Anakin's, Darth Vader in that scene, wow, just purely menacing, man. And he was on a mission. He was like, I'm getting those plans back. I am getting those plans. You are not going to stop me. And it's even funnier when you realize that, the door jammed. But why did the door jam? It's because Vader was using the Force to hold that door stuck, man. Amazing. It's only like 20 seconds, but it's the most standout part of the film for me. Absolutely epic.
They nailed that whole sequence. Absolutely nailed it.
And then when it ends and you see him looking out into space when he's holding his lightsaber, looking at the ship that gets away from him, oh, what an incredible scene. Like 25 seconds or something like that. That's all it needed. That's all Vader needs.
Yeah. That was the best scene in the movie. My standout moment would be a lot longer, but it was the whole Battle of Scarif. And then also the part with Darth Vader. But just to be a little different, the whole Battle of Scarif was a standout moment. Awesome. The whole thing.
Yeah, it could have easily been that for me too, because it was so cool seeing the X-Wings take down the AT-ATs and the ground troopers. Dude, yeah, absolutely. That scene is super sick.
Yep.
Let's get to our final scores.
Let's do it.
Final score of 2015's Star Wars film Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. I'm going to give this movie a 4. I rewatched this not super frequently, but I rewatched this one. I enjoy it. I think it has a great story. It has great characters, great acting. You get Star Wars' biggest bad, Darth Vader, in this movie. I mean, what more can you ask for from a Star Wars film? You get Darth Vader in action, and it's good. Too short, but it's good. Yeah, 4.
Okay.
Strong 4.
Strong 4. So my final score for this movie is also going to be a 4. It is a good Star Wars movie. It's, I would say, the best of the Disney Star Wars movies.
Oh, absolutely.
But also, it probably looks the best out of every Star Wars movie.
It does look really good. Yes.
It does look really good. A modern Star Wars movie, modern effects and all that. It just looked absolutely amazing. I can rewatch this one when it comes on. It has some rewatchability. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 4.
Well, you know what that means? 2 4s is an 8. This is a great movie. This is a higher than great movie. It's not quite perfect, but it's damn good. And that's been our review of Star Wars Rogue One. So thank you for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, let us know what you thought of Rogue One, and let us know what you think of Star Wars in general. And we can't wait to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching, everyone. We hope you enjoyed our review of this movie. Let us know in the comments, what did you think of the movie? Drop your score on our 1 to 5 scale and tell us if you agree or disagree with our take. Also, if you have a movie suggestion, go ahead and put it in the comments. We read every comment and we love getting the community's ideas. If you're new here, please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Turn on the notifications, hit the bell, and don't miss our next No BS short review. Thanks again for hanging out with the S2S Film Bros, and we'll see you next time.